This is Carola DeVille, and you're watching Inkwife TV. For today's video, I wanted to compare two different types of needle cartridges. I use Quartz brand cartridges. They do not sponsor me. They are just good needles, and the quality is pretty steady. I haven't had to chunk very many of them. Most of the time the boxes are completely good, and anyway, I've been very happy with them. So I've got two different types of cartridges. The top is a 23 bug pin curved mag, and the bottom is a 15 curved mag. You can see the top bug pin, the needles are a little bit narrower. They're thinner and closer together than the regular curved mag that was on the bottom. So I have I've used both styles of cartridges at various times, but I've never worked them side by side to see if I could tell a difference. I've been able to tell a little bit difference in the smoothness, I think, but it could just be that maybe that client's skin was better, or or it just, I've never done it side by side on the same client, and my client for today has fantastic skin and everything looks good that I put on her, so I thought she is going to be a really good guinea pig for this experiment, and she'll never know the difference. If she watches the video, this will be the first she knows about it. She had no idea I was doing this because I was going to keep it so subtle that, I can do the experiment real quick and then get on with the tattoo. So we'll get to that later. What I'm doing here first, I'm going to do some black and gray little cherubs. And first thing I'm doing is running around very lightly with a 3-round liner, and just putting in as few details as I need because I want it to hardly have any outline at all. So here I'm shading, and I've got the 23 bug pin, and how it felt to me when it was hitting the skin, it was very, very velvety. It didn't feel at all like it was digging in very deep to the skin. It comes out very light on the first pass, but the dots are so tiny and close together, it's really smooth. So here I've got the 15 regular curved mag, and the first thing I notice is that it is a little bit darker. It's easier for that regular curved mag to go into the skin because the needles are farther apart. So if they're wider apart, it's going to be easier for them to punch into the skin. And there's a little bit of a close-up. I was hoping you would be able to tell a difference in the needle textures. You can't see much except barely. In that regular curved mag area, you could see more needle texture. So I went down here on the leg with the regular mag just to try a different spot, and I did not like it at all. I could immediately tell that it wasn't smooth and that it was digging into the skin a little bit more, and I would have had to be so careful with how much I touched the skin if I used that regular curved mag. So I went with the bug pin and just decided I'm going to use that for the rest of this tattoo because I don't want to fight with the other one at all. Anyway, because those needles are so tiny and they're closer together, they create a smaller, finer dot pattern on the skin. And being closer together also, they don't go as deeply into the skin when it makes contact. And that makes a much softer texture. And you don't get that needle line effect that often you get with mags. I only use curved mags because I cannot stand that hard edge that you can get with a flat mag. I don't like that at all. In case you were wondering, I'm running my machine around 5 volts. That's usually what I do. I turned it up a little bit at one time, and it hit to it hit too hard and was running a little bit too fast. So I just found a pace that felt good to me, where I could, when I went over the skin, it didn't go in too dark. I wanted to make a whole lot of passes and slowly build up the shadows on the cherubs instead of trying to get it exactly right the first time. That's not what I wanted at all. The outline, as you can see, is not solid all the way around. I wanted it to look, very soft and to be, similar to the Renaissance style art, where it's just very soft and natural and blends in with the surroundings a little bit. So I'm only using gray wash for the shading in it. I don't think there was any straight black used in this at all. It's just very soft. Getting those little details on the face is, oh goodness, it's always one of the most difficult things for me, is getting the little details in those very tiny faces, because it's so easy to mess it up. But they turned out really sweet. And it's useful having those. The bug pen mag, I think, performed very well in this area, because if I had tried to use that other mag for this part, it would have been way too aggressive for such soft details. So what would you use a regular mag for? You would probably use it for, I would use it for packing black and solid color work. One thing that I feel might be a drawback to the bug pens is they might wear the motor out on your tattoo machine a little bit faster. So I definitely use a regular curved mag for solid black work. We're packing a whole lot of color in, but now that I've used them side by side, I will make sure that I always grab a bug pen when I'm doing some regular black and gray work that I want to be very soft or realistic, like this type of piece. So there were two little cherubs in this video. That was the first one. It went on the left calf, and this is the second little cherub that is going on the right calf. I'm not showing quite as much on this tattoo because you've already seen the first one, and the second one is pretty much the same except a different angel. Once again, I'm using that 3-round liner to barely put in the outlines on the tattoo. I already knew where I wanted the shadows to go, so I made the shadowed areas of the outline a little bit darker, and the lighter places just barely skimmed the surface to put the little details in, and so that I wouldn't wipe off the stencil and forget where it's supposed to go. I am using solid black for this, and the machine's running around 5.2 or 3 volts, but I mainly was using, pressure of touch and speed to make the lines more solid or light. Go a little bit slower if you want them to be more solid, not deeper, but a little bit slower, and maybe run a little bit faster if you want them to be lighter. Or you can also, if you want it to be lighter, you can also go a little bit more shallow. But the point I'm making is there is a perfect depth for a solid line. You do not have to dig in deeper to make it more solid. Just go a little slower. Be a little more steady. Go one direction and then run the opposite direction over it, and it'll probably be nice and solid. Don't just dig in. So back to running that bug pin curved mag. I'm still very pleased with it. I need to work with these more. I like my black and gray work, but in my mind it can always be so much better, and so I strive to improve all the time, and I try not to just ever let it be robotic, good enough work. I try to always really be paying attention to what I'm doing and see how can I improve, what can I pay attention to better, what detail did I not notice last time, what type of pressure or movement did I not notice last time that I might be able to change a little bit to give a better result of, for what I'm wanting. So if you're a tattoo artist out there watching these, and you see something that I'm doing that you're like, hey, this might help her out, feel free to comment. I am always learning. I am not by any means the greatest and never will be. I will always be trying to do a better job. So this is my journey, but you are most welcome to be a part of it with me. So we're getting to the end, and I really enjoyed doing these little cherub tattoos. I think it's a lot of fun to create the textures of the little fat rolls on their bodies and have them looking all, soft and angelic. And they're just, classic Renaissance art. So I think they'll probably look very good for a really long time. And I really liked the shadows that were on this bow. I always think those are fun and nice to do, and have some good reflection in it. Again, for the last bit, the shading on the face is by far took the most concentration for me, and little picking and attention to detail. And then when you're touching his face with the needle, you barely can be touching it at all. So it's stressful. Like, sometimes the tattooing is stressful, but when you sit back and you're done and you're pleased with it, then it's very rewarding too. I will say that personally and emotionally, this job is very rewarding. And you guys being a part of it, that just makes it even better. So these guys are done, and there they are. They're super cute. Thank you guys for joining me, and I will see you next week.